General Patricia Reynolds had the most impressive combat record in the U.S. Air Force. Over 8 years of command, she had personally directed air operations that resulted in 100 confirmed enemy aircraft kills, making her one of the most successful air commanders in military history. Her tactical brilliance and aggressive leadership had earned her every commendation the Air Force could offer. But when congressional investigators finally analyzed the radar data and communication records from her victories, they discovered something horrifying. 50 of those enemy aircraft had actually been American planes, flown by American pilots who had been deliberately targeted and killed by their own commander. General Patricia Reynolds had risen through the ranks of the U.S. Air Force through a combination of exceptional tactical skills, aggressive leadership, and an unwavering commitment to achieving air superiority in every combat situation. Her career began as a fighter pilot during the Iraq War, where she distinguished herself through precision flying and tactical innovation that earned recognition from senior commanders and respect from fellow pilots. Patricia's early combat experience had shaped her understanding of air warfare and her belief that aggressive engagement was essential for maintaining American air superiority against increasingly sophisticated enemy forces. Her philosophy emphasized rapid decision-making, overwhelming firepower, and the elimination of any potential threats before they could engage American aircraft or ground forces. Which city in the world are you watching this video from today? Please subscribe and support us for more stories. The promotion to squadron commander had provided Patricia with her first opportunity to implement tactical doctrines that reflected her aggressive approach to air combat. Her squadron achieved remarkable success rates during operations in Afghanistan, with enemy aircraft kills that exceeded performance metrics for similar units operating in the same theater. Patricia's tactical innovations included modified rules of engagement that authorized her pilots to engage potential threats with minimal verification procedures, streamlined communication protocols that enabled rapid response to emerging targets, and coordinated attack patterns that maximized the effectiveness of air-to-air combat operations. The success of Patricia's squadron tactics led to her promotion to wing commander, where she was responsible for coordinating air operations across multiple squadrons and ensuring tactical coherence during complex multi-unit engagements. Her wing consistently achieved higher enemy kill ratios than comparable units, establishing her reputation as one of the Air Force's most effective combat commanders. Patricia's command philosophy emphasized rapid target engagement and overwhelming force application that would eliminate enemy threats before they could respond effectively. Her tactical approach prioritized speed and aggression over extensive verification procedures that she believed could compromise mission effectiveness and endanger American personnel. The wing under Patricia's command became known throughout the Air Force for its exceptional combat performance and ability to achieve air superiority even in contested environments where enemy forces possessed advanced aircraft and sophisticated defensive systems. Her tactical methods were studied and adopted by other commanders seeking to improve their own unit performance. Patricia's promotion to general officer and appointment as theater air commander represented recognition of her exceptional combat record and tactical expertise. The position provided her with authority over all air operations in a major combat theater, including coordination with allied forces and strategic planning for long-term air superiority campaigns. The theater command assignment represented the pinnacle of Patricia's military career and provided her with unprecedented authority to implement tactical doctrines on a strategic scale. Her area of responsibility included hundreds of aircraft, thousands of personnel, and air operations that would influence the outcome of major military campaigns. But Patricia's aggressive tactical approach began to produce results that exceeded what should have been possible, given intelligence estimates of enemy aircraft numbers and capabilities. Her units were achieving enemy kill ratios that suggested either significant intelligence failures regarding enemy strength or systematic misidentification of targets during combat operations. The statistical anomalies in Patricia's combat reports initially attracted attention from intelligence analysts who were responsible for assessing enemy capabilities and tracking the effectiveness of American air operations. The number of enemy aircraft being destroyed by Patricia's units exceeded estimated enemy aircraft inventory by significant margins. Military intelligence officers attempted to reconcile Patricia's kill reports with their assessments of enemy aircraft strength and capabilities, but the discrepancies were too large to be explained by intelligence gaps or enemy reinforcement activities. Patricia's units appeared to be encountering enemy aircraft that shouldn't have existed according to available intelligence. The investigation into Patricia's exceptional combat results was initially focused on identifying intelligence failures that might have led to underestimation of enemy aircraft numbers or capabilities. Intelligence analysts reviewed satellite imagery, intercepted communications, and human intelligence reports to determine whether enemy forces possessed undisclosed aircraft or had received external support. But the intelligence review revealed no evidence of enemy aircraft capabilities that could explain the high kill ratios being achieved by Patricia's units. Enemy aircraft inventory appeared to be accurately assessed, and there were no indications of significant external support or hidden aircraft reserves that could account for the number of aircraft being destroyed. The breakthrough in understanding Patricia's anomalous combat results came when congressional investigators gained access to classified radar data and communication records that had been sealed due to operational security concerns. The radar data provided objective records of aircraft movements and engagement patterns that could be analyzed independently of combat reports. The radar analysis revealed disturbing patterns in the aircraft engagements that Patricia's units had classified as enemy kills. Many of the aircraft that had been destroyed were following flight patterns and using identification codes that were consistent with American rather than enemy aircraft. The communication analysis revealed that some of the aircraft that Patricia's units had engaged had been transmitting American identification codes and following flight plans that had been filed with American air traffic control systems. The aircraft had been destroyed despite providing appropriate identification and following authorized flight corridors. The most damning evidence came from analysis of radio communications between Patricia's command center and her pilots during actual combat engagements. The recordings revealed that Patricia had ordered attacks on aircraft that her pilots had identified as potentially American, overriding pilot concerns about target identification and classification. The investigation revealed that Patricia had been systematically manipulating target identification procedures to enable her units to engage American aircraft while classifying the incidents as legitimate enemy kills. Her tactical innovations had included modified identification protocols that made it easier to classify any aircraft as an enemy threat. Patricia's manipulation of engagement procedures had been sophisticated and systematic, involving changes to radio frequencies, identification code verification, and coordination protocols that created opportunities for American aircraft to be misidentified as enemy targets during complex multi-unit operations. The friendly fire incidents that Patricia had been covering up included transport aircraft carrying medical supplies and personnel, reconnaissance planes conducting legitimate intelligence-gathering missions, training aircraft on routine exercises, and even fighter jets returning from successful combat missions against actual enemy forces. The pilots under Patricia's command had been unknowingly participating in fratricidal attacks against their own forces, believing they were engaging enemy aircraft based on target identification information provided by Patricia's command center. Many of Patricia's pilots had expressed concerns about target identification but had been overruled by direct orders from Patricia. The psychological impact on pilots who discovered they had been killing fellow Americans was devastating, with several requiring extensive counseling and medical treatment for trauma related to their unwitting participation in fratricidal attacks. The revelation that their celebrated combat victories had included friendly fire incidents destroyed the morale and confidence of entire squadrons. The investigation into Patricia's activities revealed that she had been motivated by career advancement considerations and the desire to maintain her reputation as an exceptionally effective combat commander. Her friendly fire cover-up had been designed to protect her promotion prospects and ensure continued recognition for superior combat performance. Patricia's manipulation of combat statistics had been facilitated by the classified nature of air combat operations and the limited number of personnel with access to complete information about aircraft movements and engagement outcomes. Her position as theater commander had provided her with authority to control information flow and classification decisions. The damage assessment conducted after Patricia's exposure revealed that her systematic friendly fire incidents had resulted in the deaths of over 200 American military personnel and the destruction of aircraft and equipment worth hundreds of millions of dollars. The incidents had also compromised operational effectiveness by removing American assets from combat operations. The court-martial proceedings against Patricia included charges of murder, dereliction of duty, and conduct unbecoming an officer. The evidence against her included radar data, communication recordings, and testimony from pilots and air traffic controllers who had witnessed the fratricidal attacks. Patricia's defense arguments focused on the fog of war and the difficulty of accurate target identification during high-speed air combat operations. Her attorneys argued that the friendly fire incidents were the result of legitimate mistakes rather than deliberate actions, and that her aggressive tactics had been necessary for maintaining air superiority. The prosecution's case demonstrated that Patricia had systematically manipulated identification procedures and overridden pilot concerns about target identification in ways that could only be explained by deliberate intent to engage American aircraft. The pattern of incidents was too consistent and systematic to be attributed to combat confusion or honest mistakes. The testimony from pilots under Patricia's command revealed the extent to which she had pressured them to engage targets despite identification concerns and had threatened career consequences for pilots who questioned orders or failed to achieve expected kill ratios. Her command climate had prioritized statistics over safety and accuracy. Patricia's conviction on charges of murder and conduct unbecoming an officer resulted in a life sentence and dismissal from military service. The court-martial findings included condemnation of her systematic betrayal of the trust placed in her by military leadership and the families of the personnel she had killed. The institutional reforms implemented after Patricia's case included enhanced verification procedures for air-to-air engagements, improved communication protocols for target identification, and command oversight requirements designed to prevent individual commanders from manipulating engagement rules to serve personal interests. The psychological support programs established for personnel who had been affected by Patricia's actions included counseling services for pilots who had unknowingly participated in fratricidal attacks and family support for the relatives of personnel who had been killed by friendly fire. The investigation into Patricia's case led to comprehensive reviews of air combat procedures, command authority limitations, and oversight mechanisms designed to ensure that combat statistics accurately reflected operational outcomes rather than career advancement considerations. The families of military personnel who had been killed in Patricia's friendly fire incidents filed lawsuits against the military for negligent supervision and failure to detect systematic misconduct that had endangered their loved ones. The legal proceedings resulted in significant financial settlements and policy changes. The impact of Patricia's case on Air Force culture and training was profound, with new emphasis on ethical leadership, accurate reporting, and the moral responsibilities of commanders to protect their own personnel as well as achieve mission objectives. The historical analysis of Patricia's case revealed that her systematic friendly fire incidents represented one of the most devastating examples of command misconduct in Air Force history, with consequences that extended far beyond the immediate casualties to include long-term damage to unit cohesion, trust in leadership, and institutional integrity. The lessons learned from Patricia's case influenced military leadership training and command evaluation procedures for years after her conviction, with particular emphasis on identifying personality traits and behavioral patterns that might indicate potential for similar misconduct. Patricia's case became a classified study in military leadership programs, examining how career ambition and competitive pressure could corrupt tactical decision-making and lead to systematic betrayal of fundamental military values and responsibilities. General Patricia Reynolds had indeed achieved 100 confirmed aircraft kills during her 8 years of command, but 50 of those victories had been American aircraft flown by American pilots who had been deliberately targeted and killed by the commander they trusted to protect them. Her impressive combat record had been built on systematic fratricidal attacks that she had covered up to protect her reputation and career advancement. The Air Force's most celebrated combat commander had used her authority and tactical expertise not to defeat enemy forces, but to kill her own personnel while creating the false appearance of exceptional combat effectiveness. Her legacy became a reminder that the most dangerous threats to military personnel sometimes come from leaders who prioritize personal success over the lives of those they are sworn to protect. Patricia's systematic friendly fire campaign had demonstrated how command authority could be exploited to commit systematic murder while maintaining the appearance of combat excellence. Her case became evidence that the most devastating betrayals in military service come from trusted leaders who use their positions to destroy rather than protect the personnel under their command. The congressional investigation that exposed Patricia's crimes revealed that 50 American families had lost loved ones, not to enemy action but to the ambition of a commander who valued her kill statistics more than American lives. Her perfect combat record had been achieved through perfect betrayal of every principle that defined military service and leadership. General Patricia Reynolds had shot down 100 planes during her command tenure, but half of those aircraft had been flown by the very pilots she was supposed to protect. Her case demonstrated that sometimes the deadliest enemy of American military personnel is the person wearing the same uniform and claiming to share the same mission.